The Bogdana Corporation is proud to present Let's Talk About Health with your host, Robert Anderson. He'll talk about all aspects of health, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Now here's your host, Robert Anderson.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Let's Talk About Health. And we have a guest today, and her name is Aida. And Aida is going to speak to us about what happened to her challenging health problems as she took the Bogdana nutritional formula. She's been on it a while, and I think that we might be really enlightened hearing about her experience with the Bogdana nutritional formula. And before we welcome Aida to the show, we're going to begin as we always do with our thought for the day. And this thought today is my own. And what I think is that the 20th century will be looked upon by future generations as the era when humanity believed that taking poisons would make them healthy. And actually, that's what a lot of us are into, because anything that the body doesn't need or want, anything that the cells of the body do not require, if that substance gets into the cell, then it's toxic to the cell and must be detoxified and weakens the immune system and has perhaps other side effects as well. And of course, prescription drugs are toxic to the body, and of course they have their place and they can be beneficial, but they are a toxin. The body doesn't really want them or require them. And it's interesting what Deepak Chopra mentions too in one of his books, where he sets forth the idea that it's been proven through research that when one part of the body is in pain, what occurs is that the body enables endorphins and other healing chemicals, natural chemicals within the body, to travel to the area that's in pain for repair and for restoring health. And his question is that he poses in the book is, when we take a prescription drug to kill the symptom, the pain, does the body continue to send chemicals, healing chemicals, natural healing chemicals, and endorphins, calming chemicals to the area that's in pain? And he doubts it very severely that the normal healing process occurs. And of course we do have to remember that drugs are in some cases absolutely necessary, but this country takes more prescription drugs than any other country in the world. And it does make us wonder. And in fact, there are even some professionals, medical professionals who prescribe prescription drugs when people have a virus, and there's no drug in the world that's going to kill a virus. So a lot of times people take prescription drugs unnecessarily. And every time we take a prescription drug, it does weaken the immune system and have a cumulative effect on the immune system, on weakening it. And also, I think one of the most overlooked instruments for healing is prayer. And actually, it's only the last couple of centuries when our ancestors mankind has gotten so smart over the past couple of centuries. We've decided that many people have decided that prayer isn't scientific, and we've gotten away from prayer, a lot of us. But finally, there are some research studies. Some scientists really have wanted to know what happens when people are prayed for, and they more or less wanted to observe it from a scientific point of view. And of course, since the beginning of time, our ancestors more or less assumed that faith and healing were interrelated. And of course, a lot of us, as I mentioned before, don't assume that anymore. But let's see what happened with the scientific method in regard to observing the power of prayer. And we have to remember that the scientific method really is nothing more than a process of watching what happens in a controlled situation and then drawing conclusions about the results. And one experiment, by the way, this was done by Joyce and Weldon, and it was called the objective efficacy of prayer, a double-blind clinical study reported in the Journal of Chronic Disease, Volume 18, 1965. And it seems that in an experiment at a London clinic, 38 rheumatoid arthritis patients were divided into two groups. Half were prayed for, but they didn't know they were being prayed for because it was a double-blind study, and half of them were not prayed for. And it's interesting that of the 6 patients who improved, 5 were in the prayed-for group. Another study done by Collip called The Efficacy of Prayer, a triple-blind study reported in the Medical Times, is very interesting. The results of that study are also profound. It involved 20 children with leukemia. Half were prayed for by anonymous individuals, no less, and half were not. Of the 10 in the prayed-for group, 7 were still alive after 15 months compared to just 2 out of 10 children in the other group that was not prayed for. And of course, you might say, well, are these studies really scientific because there weren't high enough numbers of people in the groups? Well, consider this study then, done by Bird, entitled Positive Therapeutic Effects of Intercessory Prayer in a Coronary Care Unit Population, reported in the Southern Medical Journal, July 1988. It seems that at San Francisco General Hospital, 393 patients with heart disease were randomly assigned to 2 groups by computer. And as in the previous 2 studies, half were prayed for and half were not prayed for. And the patients in the prayed-for group were 5 times less likely to require antibiotics, 3 times less likely to develop pulmonary edema, and none required tracheal intubation compared to 12 in the other group that was not prayed for. So there certainly is a study with a significantly high number, 393 patients, and so I really strongly encourage you to go out and pray, and it's prayer, and the power of prayer is something that I've always believed in. But it's nice to have the Orthodox scientific community beginning to confirm what I already suspected, but it certainly didn't influence my ability or desire to pray. I really didn't need them to tell me that, but maybe it'll help them, because maybe they'll develop some faith in prayer, because now they can perhaps observe that it's really happening in a way that they can respect. I'd like to welcome Aida to the show. Welcome to the show, Aida. How are you today?
Oh, pretty good, Robert, and you?
Well, I'm well, thank you, Aida.
Oh, that's good.
I'm happy to have you with us. And Aida, can you tell us, you've been taking Bogdana nutritional formula for how long now? How long have you been on our nutritional formula, approximately?
It's approximately about 2 months.
Mm-hmm. And with a lot of people, I think the best is yet to come for you, because for many people, the first 2 months is detoxification and cleansing. We have a unique energy in our formula. It's a nutritional formula. It's in liquid form. And we have a unique energy that's identical to the energy God puts in every cell of our body. The energy is held in there by the trace minerals. And that stimulates, that energy, once it gets into the body at a cellular level, stimulates our cleansing system to come back to excellent working order. And so the beauty of it is that it's not our product cleaning the person out who takes the Bogdana nutritional formula. The energy in our product stimulates the cleansing system. It comes back to excellent working order. And for the first couple of months, on the average, most people go through a cleansing phase on our nutritional formula. But tell us about your experience with our formula. What's going on? What's been in your experience taking our Bogdana nutritional formula with your health?
Well, to tell you, Robert, my health was, I thought I was going to have to start planning my will.
Mm-hmm.
I was in very, very sad shape. And I had heard about, I've been taking vitamins, all kinds of vitamins, about 20 or 30 pills that I take, because we used to be in the health food business, and, that's what you get in the health food stores. You get pills and pills and pills and pills. So,
and every week a new one comes out, too.
A new one comes out, and you add it to it, and so it's very easy to get tempted to take all of these.
Yeah, I know. I already know people, and I used to be one of these, because I used to take vitamins like that. I already know people who are carrying a suitcase with them when they go on trips just to carry their vitamins.
Yeah, I was one of those.
Yeah, and with a new one coming out every week or so, one wonders what 10 years from now in the future might be. People might have to rent an entire house just to hold their vitamins, and they may have to spend 23 hours of the 24 hours in the day just taking their vitamins at the rate that they're going.
I know it.
So you were one of those, too, that carried a suitcase full of vitamins?
Full of vitamins. And
well, I did also. Don't feel too bad.
I have my cupboard full of vitamins. And when I heard about Bodana, and my health wasn't getting any better, and I'd go to a doctor, and that was worse. So I decided, I had heard about Bodana about a year or a year and a half through my daughter-in-law, who heard your radio program.
Mm-hmm.
And she told me about it, but I had so many vitamins on hand, I had to wait, and then I decided one day, the heck with the vitamins. I've got to get on this Bodana that I have heard so much about, and I decided to give it up and start with Bodana.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but I tell you, I was in such a state, mental state, depression.
Yeah. You were suffering from depression, Aida?
Depression, everything that you can think of. My joints were hurting so bad I couldn't hardly walk,
mm-hmm.
because I have osteo, I have diabetes, and so I was a mess, a real mess.
Osteoporosis, diabetes, and depression. Okay.
And depression.
Mm-hmm.
And I just got to the point where I just as soon be dead than alive. But like you mentioned prayer over there, I started praying too.
Mm-hmm.
And that helps, because without the Creator, we can't do nothing.
Absolutely.
So I tell you what I did. Then I decided I talked to my daughter-in-law, and she says, you start on the Bodana, and if whatever it does for you, we'll see. So I decided to try it, and I started to try. I've been on it for about 2 months. The first 2 days that I took Bodana, I had a surge of energy
mm-hmm.
that I went and helped my husband out in the yard, and we worked until 9 o'clock that night.
Yeah, whoa! I mean, that's great that you had that, and but I just want
the first 2 days.
That's great. That's fabulous. But I've got to qualify something, Aida. Now,
okay.
I don't doubt at all that it happened to you. And we had a fellow on who had multiple sclerosis a while back who had that same surge of energy in the beginning. Our opinion about that surge of energy that you felt might be that, our formula is so easily absorbed into the body. It has 150 nutrients, all broken down to the finest particle size. We always like to say microscopic size. We do that through an enzyme treatment in our laboratories. And then also it's in a liquid form, and also the fine particle, the microscopic size that the formulas, the nutrients, all 150 of them are broken down to, makes it so easily absorbed by the body. And then, two, we put digestive enzymes in the formula, so that in effect the formula is pre-digested in vitro, so to speak, before the customer gets the formula. And our opinion is that most of the nutrients in the formula are probably absorbed into the body before the formula hits the stomach, and it's a very powerful formula. It's very highly concentrated. So all you really need, and it's hard to believe, but it's true, but a half teaspoon of the recommended dosage every day will give people more nutrients than they'll get from a whole handful of the old-fashioned vitamins. But our opinion about what happened to you, Aida, is that you might have gotten some nutrient assimilated into your body, or several nutrients that your body was really craving, and perhaps was not able to. Formerly, prior to Bodana, your body was unable to assimilate those nutrients for one reason or another. If people are interested in a nutritional formula, if you've just heard the show for the first time and you would like to simply order a catalog written by our research scientist, Joseph Gruber, who spent 16 years in research on our nutritional formula, you can just order the catalog. We'll send it out to you for free. However, if you want to order our nutritional formula, there's a first purchase money-back guarantee. We've got a $29 1-month supply, $55 2-month supply. We've got a $79 3-month supply. Since there is a first purchase money-back guarantee, you might as well start with the $79 bottle. This way you'll be on the formula long enough where you might realize and feel some of the energy and good benefits that we're talking about on the radio so frequently. So give us a call at 1-800-52-HEALTH. HEALTH, or 1-800-524-3258. That's 1-800-524-3258. Think of 1-800-52-HEALTH, 50 as in 52 weeks of good health. And for those people who just tuned in, You're listening to Let's Talk About Health with me, Robert Anderson, and this program is sponsored by the Bogdanovich Corporation, and we're here talking with Aida in regard to what occurred with her health as she took the Bogdanovich nutritional formula, and she was reporting to us a moment ago that she was suffering from osteoporosis, she was suffering from depression, and what else did you say you suffered from,
Diabetes,
Aida?
and
Diabetes.
my digestion, I couldn't eat nothing because my digestion was gone.
Wow.
And my the bowels and everything pertaining to digestion, it was terrible.
Now,
so
what happened? What happened then with all of that? Because you had a multiple number of health problems. What's been occurring with you?
Well, I'll tell you what. To start with, no more gas and no more indigestion and no more heartburn.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell you, that is something that if anybody has heartburn, and I think I had heartburn all my life, and with this, I couldn't believe it. And then I'm getting new hair.
New hair?
New hair.
Are you using the shampoo?
No.
Oh, what'll you use that?
No. I have new hair on my sides over here. My hair is so more manageable. I couldn't believe it because my hair was always limp. And now I experience that, and I am so thankful, and also my circulation is better, because I used to feel, I guess through the diabetes, my toes, I couldn't get any circulation down there, and I was always getting the massage around. Well, now I don't have, it's not completely gone, because I've only been on this 2 months. But and my skin is better, but the circulation, I welcome that because it used to bother me a lot.
Yeah, well, that's one of the hallmark characteristics that diabetics have.
Diabetics, yeah, right.
And so you notice definite improvement with the circulation?
Improvement in that circulation. It used to drive me crazy, but now, and my skin is much, much better than it was. And I don't want to think that that is, but wrinkles around your eyes, they're not as pronounced as they were before. And I haven't been putting any creams of any kind because, like I said, I was almost dead when I started taking these 2 months ago. And then the energy is really coming back. I get tired, but everybody does. But the energy, I noticed that the energy is better. Not only that, but my gums.
Your gums, okay.
My gums. I used to have to take that CoQ10. Since I started on Boldana, I don't take nothing else but Boldana.
Oh, that's great.
And my gums are fine. No more bleeding in my gums or nothing.
See, the key is, I think, also, Aida, is that the nutrients are really getting into the body, and our opinion at the Bogdanovich Corporation is that the cleansing phase of taking Bogdana is crucial, and of course it's not being acknowledged by the Orthodox medical establishment or the Orthodox scientific community, but we at the Bogdanovich Corporation, our opinion is that that our body was not designed by God to cope with 150,000 man-made chemicals that are entering the human body by the air we breathe, the pesticides on the food, and coming into the human body by a variety of different avenues. God did not design our body to cope with the high level of toxicity in the formula. In the atmosphere, and we're getting too much in our system as far as toxins, and it's not a good idea. So what happens is, our theory is that the body breaks down, and the cleansing system breaks down. We begin to retain those poisons, and what occurs then, we think, is that the poisons, the toxins, serve to block out the entry of nutrients. And so that cleansing phase is so important, with the cells become empty of poisons, making room. Now we have once the cleansing is over, we have an empty, clean cell that can once again take the nutrients into the cell. So that's our opinion about what's probably occurring with you. But
and I tell you another thing, Robert. Excuse me, is
sure.
I've lost a few pounds.
Yeah, well, that's not surprising either, because although it doesn't happen to everybody, Aida, what occurs too is that if your liver is highly toxic and your liver detoxifies, well, then the liver can do its job, which is metabolizing fat. If you have a toxic liver, it can't function too well. And so that could be the reason why you're losing a few pounds. Same thing with the pancreas. The pancreas metabolizes and processes sugar. If it's filled with toxins, then it can't function too well and do its job. So perhaps now what's going on is that you have a liver that's detoxified, you have a pancreas that's detoxified, and they're functioning the way God meant them to, metabolizing fat, processing sugar correctly. So that doesn't surprise me, although there might be numerous causes for weight gain. We do get reports like that, and I think with those people, perhaps such as yourself, that's probably the likely explanation of what's going on. But how's the depression? Because depression certainly is a big problem, and of course within the Bogdana nutritional formula we have all the amino acids. They're all broken down to the finest particle size, and there's a lot of research being done now on the way amino acids affect the brain, that many of them work as neuroelectrical transmitters in the brain, which is certainly very important for having good mental functioning. What's happening with that depression? How long did you have depression before taking...
Well, I tell you, I have suffered from depression on and off, and I have taken different things for depression. I don't take drugs because I don't like I like home remedies or like the amino acids or something like that, but nothing worked. I was very conscious of this formula, and I read everything that I could read about Bogdana, and I was amazed at the nutrients listed in the Bogdana. And not only that, but I knew that if I took all of these pills again, I couldn't digest them. And what impressed me, too, is that this was, I am being fed at the cellular level, right, the cells. Mm-hmm. This goes direct to the cell, and it's pre-digested. And when I take it, I put it under my tongue, and it just almost, if I want some energy, I take it before I go out to do something.
It's probably a good recommendation to everyone out there to perhaps let the Bogdana formula go under the tongue. I think that's a good suggestion, Aida. I really do think it is. But my opinion is that what really is working for you is the nutrients broken down to the finest particle size. Everything about the formula is for easy absorption, assimilation, and what I think a lot of people like more than anything is that with the half teaspoon once a day, you'll be getting more nutrients into your body than you would be getting into your body with a whole handful of the old-fashioned vitamins. And also, it's not even
more pills, and I tell you,
that's great,
Robert. Every day, I feel like it's filling in the pockets in my body, because you have to also listen to body language, to know how to read your body, you know. The symptoms and signals. So these signals for me is telling me each day that goes by, I feel better, and I feel like my body is being fed, but I also try to eat good food,
Yeah, well, that's certainly important to eat good food and exercise, but there's so much wrong with the food today. That's why a nutritional supplement is necessary. The food is not like it used to be. I think one of the most dramatic examples of that was an article that I read in a scientific journal where a carrot that was frozen in the 1850s was defrosted, and it was frozen in some polar ice cap, or I don't know where it was, but it was somehow frozen. And when it was defrosted, it was noticed that that carrot that was over 100 years old had many more nutrients, a higher level of nutrients than a modern-day carrot. So it goes to show you that the food today is depleted of nutrients, and it's very important to take the Bogdana nutritional formula, because at least you're getting all of the nutrients, 150 nutrients. It's probably the most complete formula in the world, and it's very easily assimilated by the body, which is probably why it's working so well within you. We have a $29 1-month supply, $55 2-month supply, $79 3-month supply, and there's a money-back guarantee on your first purchase. And if you'd like to order the catalog, or if you'd like to order product, the catalog, by the way, is very interesting. There's a couple of pages written by Joseph Gruber, our research scientist, explaining the science behind the Bogdana formula, and we have a lot of fine formulas, and 2 pages on detoxification, the science of the formula. I think you'll find the catalog very interesting reading. Or
you know, Robert, I got that catalog and I read it from cover to cover,
and
I was so impressed because, like I said, we were in the health food business for 18 years, and I never came across a product like this in my life.
Well,
people used to come in my store and used to ask us, you know, about a product like this. I said, there's no such thing like that available. There's no such thing. But we request.
What were they looking for when you would answer with that?
They were looking for all of these ingredients in the liquid form, especially the elderly people, you know. And even my daughter. My daughter is only 45, and she started last night on Bodana because she was so tired of these pills that it made her sick, and ultimately.
Well, I'm not surprised. There's actually a disease that's been diagnosed by doctors called vitamintosis, and actually, what happens is when vitamins or any other substance get into the cells that are not needed and wanted by the cell, they have to be detoxified by a drug, and they cause chemical imbalances. With the Bogdana nutritional formula, the energy in our formula comes in contact with the energy in the cell. For lack of a better word, they bond and they communicate with each other, and at that point, the cell will only take in from our formula the nutrients that it needs and wants on a daily basis. What the cell takes in today may be very different from what it took in yesterday or will take in tomorrow. What the cell takes in depends on the stress level going on in the body within a given day. So if you're interested in our nutritional formula or our free catalog, or both, give us a call at 1-800-52-HEALTH. Think of 52 weeks of good health, HEALTH, or 1-800-524-3258. That's 1-800-524-3258. Operators are standing by now,
and Robert,
as they will be all week long. Yes, Aida?
Robert, don't forget to tell him that it tastes fantastic.
Well, I think so, too, and thank you very much for saying that. And by the way, one of the reasons why it tastes so well is that we use honey in our formula. Honey is the best natural preservative in the world, and I know that people like yourself who are diabetic, Aida, would wonder whether or not our nutritional formula might be a problem for diabetics, and no, it wouldn't, because we're talking about taking a half teaspoon once a day. There's less sugar in the Bogdana nutritional formula dosage than you'd find in a slice of bread or a potato for that matter. So it's not really enough sugar to get you in trouble. We use honey because honey is the best natural preservative in the world. We as a nutritional company do not want to use anything artificial in our product. And by the way, the only way to achieve bonding in a nutritional formula, bonding is the integration and the cohesiveness of the vitamins and minerals as they bond in nature within food. To duplicate that, one must have three components in a nutritional formula. You have to have amino acids, some form of sugar, and we have to have enzymes in the formula. If a nutritional formula is missing any one of those three components, then the formula does not achieve bonding, which really sheds some light on a lot of the vitamins that are even big-name vitamin companies that actually brag that they don't have sugar. Well, if you don't have sugar, then you have not achieved bonding in your formula, and you have a very faulty formula, and you might consider that as you take vitamins. Also remember that the Bogdana nutritional formula is perfectly balanced. It took 16 years for Joseph Gruber to achieve a perfectly balanced formula, so we would appreciate it if you take our formula not to take other nutrients and minerals along with it. It's a very powerful formula, and of course our rule of thumb at the Bogdana Corporation is that if you're healthy, all you need is to stick with a half teaspoon once a day. And you can continue on that. For people who have anything negative going on within their body, what you might want to do is, once detoxification is over, approximately the third month for the average person, at that point you might want to take a half teaspoon about 3 times a day. So for all of you out there in the listening audience, this has been Robert Anderson and Aida wishing all of you good health and hoping that you live each day as though it were your first day, your last day, and your only day.
To obtain further information or to order the Bogdana products, call 1-800-52-HEALTH. That's 1-800-524-3258.